Got it?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right, you guys, welcome to our seminar. I am Candace Reed, and this is
Kelsey Williams.
We are Atlanta Realtors, and we are here today to basically go over the home buying process with you guys, answer any questions that you may have about home buying, and go over, how much money you need to, basically own your home. But starting off, I just want to say congratulations to you guys. We are so proud of you for starting the first step in your home buying process. And the first step is simply to get more information about what you should be doing. So congratulations on making that first step. We are definitely proud of you guys.
All right, give me 1 second. Let me just let some people in the room.
All right. So I am Candace Reed. I am a graduate of Georgia Southern University. I graduated with a degree in early childhood education. I am no longer a teacher. I went full-time in real estate this year. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to educate people about the home buying process, because it is amazing to just have that home ownership feeling. And I just wanted to be able to provide that to everyone. So I decided to do this full-time. I am a realtor, not a real estate agent. The difference between a realtor and a real estate agent is I am a member of a board of realtors, the CAB Association of Realtors, and I am also an RPAC member, which means that I am very active in our community and going to the courthouses and going to the state capitol, lobbying for real estate rights and making sure that we protect you guys as consumers in the real estate field.
All right, and I am Kelsey Williams. I also went to Georgia Southern University, where I majored in public relations and marketing. And thankfully, I can use my degree in real estate to definitely market these homes and to help you guys purchase your first home, or even if it's not your first home, definitely assist you with this purchase. I grew up here in Georgia, so I am a Georgia girl. I'm very familiar with the area. I currently work out of the Tucker office with Keller Williams, Atlanta Partners. I have been doing real estate for just about a year now. It's super exciting. I love it. I love the day-to-day, the people I get to meet, the different schedules, the different homes. I love seeing the different kinds of homes. So yeah, I'm super excited to meet you guys and to be here with you guys and to talk about how to buy a house.
All right, so basically we're not gonna keep you guys long. We know it's Saturday, you got things you want to do. You might want to go out, but wear your mask, of course, because coronavirus. But before you guys go out and do everything you want to do, I wanted to kind of go over what we're going to be discussing today, which is the home buying process, financial information about how much money you could possibly need to put down to buy your first home, and why you should choose to have a realtor on your team. So, a lot of people ask me, why should I buy a home versus renting a home? And that is such a heavy question to answer. So I'm kind of gonna go over some of the things that, as to why buying is, better than renting a home. So I'll kind of let Kelsey go over the first couple of things, and then I'll kind of negate everything that she's saying about why she should rent.
All right. So definitely one thing that we hear all the time about renting, you have a lower payment. So sometimes, when you're getting these specials, they're doing 3 months rent or something like that, you're thinking that the rent is lower. It might not necessarily be true.
Mm-hmm. So for example, I am the prime example of why renting is not better than buying, because I have lived in Atlanta in the Buckhead area for about 3 to 4 years now. So with me living in that area, of course the rent is extremely high, but I love Buckhead, so I chose to live there. I recently purchased a home in the East Point area this year. I became a homeowner January, and I am literally saving about $400 to $500. Can you believe that? And in my mortgage, considering how much I was paying to rent a high rise in the Buckhead area. I was living in a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. I was paying like $2,000 for rent, and now I'm paying like $1,500 for my mortgage, and I have a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath house. And I was living so much space, and I was paying $2,000 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. apartment. So that's crazy to rent when you can definitely buy for it. It's not cheaper than around the same price.
All right. And another thing we hear all the time is in apartments and when you're renting, you don't have to worry about any maintenance because you just put in a work order and you don't have to worry about anything like that.
So the thing about buying a home is just like you have renter's insurance, you have homeowner's insurance that you have to pay. So if anything goes wrong with your property, you can call your home insurance. And there's also some things called home warranties, because the home insurance is only going to protect you like if your house catches on fire, if your house is flooded. If you have a good realtor on your team, they're going to have your seller pay for a home warranty for you. And when the seller pays for that home warranty, let's say, for instance, those things that may happen, like, for example, if your HVAC system goes out, if your water heater goes out, something happens with your plumbing, you can contact your home warranty and they will literally come out. You will pay maybe a flat rate of $100 and they'll come out and either fix or replace that item for that trade fee of $100. So it's not that much more expensive, to maintain a home rather than to maintain an apartment or renting an apartment. It's about the same.
All right. And then something that we hear all the time with renting is people like the year-to-year lease and how the easiest to move. And they don't want to have to worry about trying to sell their house when it's time to move or the hassle of that. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, so if you are one of those type of people who, you kind of rent and you're going from place to place, if you're staying in an apartment, your rent is not going to stay the same from year to year. More than likely, your rent is going to increase within that time frame, usually within a year time. When your lease ends, if you go to renew your lease, you're going to end up paying extra. So why not buy a house or a condo or a townhome and you're going to have a fixed rate? You know exactly what you're going to be paying year after year after year. So that's one of the reasons why it's better to buy rather than to rent. You're also building equity into this property. So when you're renting, you are literally just throwing money down the drain. You're giving the landlord all this money and basically paying a mortgage for them. So why not just get your own property and be building equity into your property that you can gain money from? You can pull equity out of your home. You can borrow money on your home. It's almost like you're building a bank. It's forcing you to save when you're putting money down into your mortgage. So that's always what I say to people when they say like, oh my gosh, the rent, now I want to stay in the same place, or I just want to rent forever. No, the goal is always to buy.
And I like that you brought up the fact that you can get equity in the home because I actually purchased my first home a couple years ago. And something I did was, I think is really cool, I moved out and rented it out. So now I'm getting monthly income from my house as well as I'm getting that equity that's already in there because the area that I bought a house in has already increased in value. So that's definitely something else to think about as well.
And you also want to make sure that you have a good realtor on your team that can identify those areas that are, increasing in value. You want to move into an area that's increasing in value so that you can, number one, build equity. And if you decide to move one day, you want to always get money back when you get to the closing table if you're the seller. You never want to go to the closing table as a seller and either owe or, you don't come out with anything. If you have a good realtor that's looking at current market trends, they're going to be able to tell you which areas in the city are, increasing in value.
And something else too, I feel like Georgia is a really good market right now because we have a lot of big companies. Like Amazon is bringing a distribution center. I know that Microsoft is bringing some new tech jobs towards Atlantic Station. So things like this that go on that affect the real estate market, your realtor should definitely know.
Definitely. So do you guys have any questions so far about, renting versus buying as of right now? If you have any questions, just feel free to add it to the chat box. We'll stop every now and then, to check it to see if you guys have asked any questions. You see any questions so far?
Not yet. I guess we're doing a good job.
All right. So the next part of our presentation is going to go over the step-by-step home buying process. So you want to buy a home, but you have no idea what this process entails. You think you can do this on your own, so you don't choose to get a realtor, but then you mess up in the process.
Or don't get one at all.
So you mess up in the process. And so we're going to go over the step-by-step process, of buying a home, basically step 1 through 10.
All right. So step number one is very important, is choosing a realtor. Because like we said, the various things that we've already named that the realtor will help you with, like knowing the market and knowing different things that will affect your home buying process. As well as choosing a realtor is super important. You want to choose a realtor that fits your personality, somebody that you can get along with. This is a very serious transaction. I know, like we're laughing and stuff like that, but buying a home is a very big transaction. So you just want to make sure that your realtor knows what they're doing. Yes, if y'all have any questions about things that you should ask your realtor or things you want to ask us, definitely put it in the chat. All right, and then the number two, after you choose your real estate agent, you want to go ahead and get pre-approved. So what this means is you're going to go to the lender and get pre-approved for a financing amount. So the financing amount you get from the lender is going to be your budget that we're going to use to go out in your home buying process. With the market being so competitive right now in Georgia, it is super, super important to have that pre-approval letter because that can definitely win you an offer and get you the house, having pre-approved.
And not having one you will lose an offer because sellers aren't looking for people who are just haphazardly finding a home. If you don't have proof that you have the funds to be able to fund this purchase, then they're not even going to take a second look at your offer.
All right, and then the next thing you're gonna do with your realtor.
Oh, and just FYI, before we get into that, I personally do not allow clients. I don't show properties unless my clients have pre-approval. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what to say. Y'all gotta excuse her. But anyways, I do not let clients into my car or meet clients at homes unless they have a pre-approval, because if you don't have a pre-approval letter, then there's really no point in us going out to look for a home, because one, you don't know how much you're going to qualify for, and you don't know for sure if you're going to get that loan. That pre-approval letter is basically saying that the bank is saying they're going to give you the funds to purchase this property. We have one question in the chat. Lauren says, does interest start immediately after being pre-approved or when you close? Do you mean the interest rate increasing, or do you mean, I guess, when is your interest rate locked in? Is that what you're asking, Lauren?
Oh, I think so, maybe.
Yes. So like once you get approved, does it start building interest right away or when you close on a home?
No, so the interest doesn't, once you have an interest rate, your interest rate with the bank usually is locked in. They lock the interest rate usually during the underwriting process. So your interest rate isn't locked in until after
you submitted the offer.
You submitted the offer. We've submitted your offer to the bank, giving them your contract. The bank looks over the contract, and then they'll start the loan process. That's when your interest rate gets locked in. Once your interest rate is locked in, it won't increase, or most of the time, depending on what type of loan that you have, if it's a fixed rate loan, it won't change. It's going to be that interest rate for the remainder of the loan or until you decide to refinance.
Okay. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Thanks for the question.
All right, so we have another question. It says, does the pre-approval amount determine the mortgage payments? So your mortgage payments are dependent on the amount that you pay for the house. So I guess technically, I would say no, because you might get approved for like $200,000, but that doesn't mean you're going to spend the full $200,000 on a house. To get what I'm saying? You might only get a house for $150,000, and then your mortgage would depend on the $150,000, not the $200,000. If that makes sense.
Yes, and when you are, if you're working with a good agent that has a very good mortgage loan officer, they will go over, when you're doing your mortgage loan application, they're going to go over with you every single detail and let you know how much, based off of this maximum pre-approval amount, how much your mortgage payment is going to be, how much your principal will be, your interest, and if you have paid for any mortgage insurance. They're going to let you know exactly what that number, that monthly mortgage payment will be prior to giving you that pre-approval letter. A lot of times some mortgage loan officers will just give you a pre-approval, but my personal mortgage loan officer, she will go over it with you step by step, letting you know exactly how much you're going to pay. So there won't be any surprises. You don't want to think you're going to have a $1,000 mortgage and you ended up with a $1,500 mortgage. So it's very important that you have a realtor that has a very good team behind them that's going to explain to you everything that you need to do and give you information about the amount of money that you're going to be spending as far as your mortgage is concerned.
All right, and I think that kind of also tied into the next question. It says, will a realtor know about taxes in a certain area?
Yes, your realtor should be able to explain to you what the average annual property taxes are in the area.
And see, this is important because as realtors, we have access to certain information that real estate agents, might not necessarily have access to. So,
and especially just a buyer in general won't have this information, because if you're doing this on your own, how are you going to know, what the property taxes are in the area? That's one of the key reasons as to why you have a realtor. That's their job, is to know that information.
All right. So after you found your realtor and you got pre-approved, you're going to start the home search.
That's the fun part.
Right. I'm like, everybody's been on Zillow, realtor.com and stuff like that. So we basically still use those, the MLS listing websites and stuff to find homes. You'll definitely speak with your realtor about what you're looking for. No detail is too much when it comes to searching for a home. So definitely be open with your realtor during this process and let them know what you would like and what you don't like as far as areas. And also during this process, it's really important for you as a buyer to also drive around the potential areas that you want to live in, just to kind of see what's in the area. You don't want the first time that you go to that area to when you're looking at the house, because what if you don't even like that area? So,
and there's been a lot of times where people love the house but hate the area.
I have seen it so many times. All right. So after you begin the search and you find a house that you want, you and your realtor are going to make an offer on the home. So this is where it gets fun. This is where our job definitely gets really fun. This is where we start doing contracts and we start negotiating. And then this is where, again, it's important that you have a good realtor and your communication is open, because you need to be able to tell them what you feel comfortable with and what you don't feel comfortable with. Like I said earlier, this is a very big purchase, and you definitely want to make sure you understand what you're getting into and stuff like that.
Yeah, so one of the reasons why it's good to have a realtor, and I know I keep going back to that, but it's just so important because there are different negotiating tactics that realtors have that a regular consumer, if they haven't gone to real estate school, won't have. You don't know what contingencies to put into that contract to make your offer competitive. Atlanta's market right now is super, super high. Everyone is moving to Atlanta. So right now we are in a seller's market. What is a seller's market? A seller's market is when you have you have housing inventory, a small amount of housing inventory, and you have a whole bunch of buyers out there. So we got a whole bunch of buyers, not that many houses. So that means it's very competitive. Most houses, especially if it's up under $300,000, they're going to have multiple offers out on that property. So you want to make sure that you have an agent that it has very good negotiating skills that can explain those contingencies to you extremely well, and also be able to get you the best offers that you can have, because most sellers are looking for highest and best. So you need to know what is your highest and best based off of your pre-approval letter. That's going to tell you what your highest and best offer is, and your realtor is going to keep you in that bracket. A lot of times you guys as consumers, you are making a deal based off of your emotions. As a realtor, we make deals based off of numbers.
Facts. Okay.
Yes, you may love this house. It could be the best house in the world, but once I run those numbers, I'm going to come back and tell you, girl, you might think you like this house, but every house in this complex is basically going down in value. And you won't know that unless you have a realtor or you have access to that type of information. So just make sure that you have that you are able to make a really good offer. And if you have a good realtor, they'll be able to lead you along the way to be able to do that.
All right. So after your offer is accepted, yay, offer accepted, you will have to deliver something called the earnest money. So this is another important thing that a realtor does. In that contract, we definitely put in the terms of the earnest money, like the amount, how you deliver it, check, card, and thankfully it's 2020, so now you can do ACH withdrawal as well. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought. Yes, I'm sorry. And then you deliver the earnest money, and basically what this is doing is this is you putting consideration in on that house. So this is you saying that, oh, I'm serious, my offer has been accepted, and this is my house. Because a lot of people, they offer gets accepted and they forget about to submit that earnest money. Their realtor doesn't remind them to submit that earnest money, and then they lose the offer because now you're out of your contract.
Earnest money is usually 1 to 3% of the purchase price of the property. So let's say, for instance, if you are buying a property for $200,000, usually the earnest money is about $2,000, in between $2,000 and $4,000, depending on what you want to put down. And you do get that money back at the closing table. It's not money that you're giving to the seller. You do get that money back as part of your closing costs. And I put a little money there because, like I said, it's not just about your down payment and your closing costs. There are other costs that occur when you are buying a home, such as your earnest money, inspections, and appraisals. All those things the buyer has to pay for. Let's go to the chat room. I think I saw like a couple questions.
It was one, but he was asking about the loans, and we're gonna go over it.
Okay, yeah. Great. All right, so once you have delivered your earnest money, you usually have about 7 to 10 days to get your inspection done. Your realtor will send you a list of inspectors to use that they have been working with and that they know are really good. The inspector is going to come to the house. They're going to go over that house with a fine-tooth comb, and they're going to tell you every single thing that is wrong with that house, all the way down to the gutter is a little bit crooked. It needs to be like 2 inches to the right, and then it's 2 inches to the left. They're going to be very, very specific. So that's when you sit down and you look at the inspection report and you discuss what are your non-negotiables. What are some things that this house need? I really want this to be fixed prior to moving into this house. Because if there is something that you want to be fixed, that you say, okay, this HVAC system is extremely old. I do not want to move into a house that has a very old HVAC system. I want the seller to do this. The seller can either choose to, make that repair, or they can choose to not make that repair. And then you decide if you want to continue on with the deal. Once your inspection is done and you guys discuss the repairs and it's been solidified, then you are officially under contract at that time. A lot of people think you're under contract as soon as the purchase and sale agreement is being signed. In my opinion, you're not officially under contract until the inspection is done and all the repairs have been agreed upon, and then you sign that final piece of paperwork saying that yes, you are going to buy the house per the repairs that need to be made. Lauren says, I need a buyer's market. I know, right? Girl, Atlanta has not been in the buyer's market in like years. And I don't foresee it coming anytime soon because we just have so many people coming into the city.
I think Tyler Perry Studios. It's a lot going on in Atlanta right now. Tyler Perry Studios, like I said, Amazon, Microsoft is coming. So, and
our home prices are still fairly cheap considering other areas in the United States. Even though our market, we are in a seller's market, our homes are still considerably reasonably priced. Mm-hmm. And if there's any time to buy a house in Atlanta, now is the time. Even if you are not, going to be living in Atlanta, I would highly suggest you just buy property in Atlanta because, like I said, when you compare it to other places in the United States, it's extremely reasonably priced.
Definitely. And we did have one question. It says, do you get the earnest money back if the seller refuses to do the work?
That's where your realtor comes in. If you, there's a timeline, as long as it's between those 7 and 10 days that we discussed, then yes, you can get your earnest money back. If you have, if you're not always, like, as realtors, we're just always in that mindset of time, because we're the timekeepers and we're the date keepers on everything that has to do with this transaction. So if you don't have a realtor, you just need to make sure that you are on top of your dates, because you are 1 day short of that inspection period, or that 7 to 10 day inspection period, or due diligence period as it's called, then no, you will not get your earnest money back. You are out of $2,000.
Basically. All right.
After the inspection, step 7 is the appraisal. The appraisal is where it's not an inspection. They don't go in and see what's wrong with the property. They're going in and they're determining how much the home is worth based on the other homes in the area. So usually the bank you don't have to go out and get your own appraisal. The bank has their own appraiser that goes out on their behalf. You just have to pay for it. And depending on the type of loan that you have determines how much the appraisal is going to cost. For my particular lender, for a conventional loan, I want to say between 250 and 350, and for an FHA loan is usually between like 400 and
a little more.
500. It is. It's a little bit more for the FHA appraisal, just because it's more things that's involved in the FHA loan.
And we'll definitely talk about that. We did see the question in the chat asking about the FHA versus conventional loans and stuff. We'll definitely cover that.
So while step 8 is about the loan commitment, the loan commitment is kind of going on between step 5, 6, and 7, because it's going on in the background. As soon as you put in that contract and we send it to the lender is going to go ahead and start doing the underwriting process and making sure they can give you the loan they said they could. They're going to go back and check everything that you turned in the first time you got your pre-approval. They're going to go recheck it again to make sure nothing has changed. They're going to make sure you still have your job, especially right now during COVID. They're going to make sure that you still have your job, that you're not in worry of, getting laid off from your job. They're just going to be checking everything. So it's very important that when you're going through this process, that you don't make any big purchases, and you definitely don't want to put anything on credit while you're buying a home. If you have, cash and you want to pay for some cash, by all means, go ahead and pay for it. But do not buy anything on credit while you are looking for a home, or before or after. Well, after is fine, but just not before.
Yeah, no.
It's not before.
And I also wanted to make another note that your mortgage lender that is working with you, working with your team on this process, definitely ask them questions. Do not be scared to ask them anything. They work with us as a part of the team to get the job done, to help you get in your house and stuff like that. But I find a lot of the times that people don't ask the mortgage lenders a lot of questions because they think the mortgage lender can only talk to us, when that's not true. The mortgage lender can definitely talk directly to you and can definitely probably answer some questions a little better than us, because the mortgage lenders are definitely the financing people.
Yeah, because when you work with a realtor, you're working with an entire team. So on my team, there's me as the realtor, which I'm in charge of finding you a home, leading you through the process. I'm the timekeeper, making sure everything is done in the time that it needs to be done. The other part of the team is the mortgage loan officer. The mortgage loan officer is the person that is going to be, getting your loan approved and taking your loan through the underwriting process. So any questions that you have about your loan goes to the mortgage loan officer. And then the third person in this triad is your closing attorney. The closing attorney is the person that makes sure that your loan closes. They're in charge of all the contracts, and they're going to be the last people that you see and before you get your keys. So, triad: realtor, mortgage loan officer, and your closing attorney.
I was waiting on somebody to ask this question. Okay, so somebody said, if the appraiser determines the value of the house to be less than the offer I put it on the house, can I renegotiate that offer? Definitely.
Yes. If you have an FHA loan,
yes, they will not pay. if you put in a $300,000 bid and the house only appraises at $250,000, the mortgage company literally will not pay $300,000 for that house. They're not going to pay over $250,000.
So either the seller is going to have to come down on the purchase price, or they're going to have to let the deal go. And most sellers, at this point, you've been in this deal for almost a month or 15 days. They don't want to let the deal go. So they're just going to come down the price, and whatever the appraiser appraised it at, that's the value usually that they're going to let the house go for.
See, this is negotiation. This is another good reason why you should have a realtor.
But because if you don't ask that, then the seller is going to just, they're going to like, it appraised it. I'll get $50,000 more. Like, no, you can negotiate for whatever the house appraised for. And I would highly suggest that that's what you do. Why would you want to pay more than what the house is worth?
Because then you're not going to get any equity, like we talked about before.
You're going to be in the negative. You never want to start off in the negative. You want to start off in the positive.
All right, so Mary, I do see your question about the basic requirements about pre-approval and credit scoring stuff. Don't we talk about that in financing?
Yes.
Okay, we talk about it in financing, so we're just going to get back to it really quickly.
All right, so step 9 is the final walkthrough. That's where everything is done. You have gotten that clear to close, which everybody is like, hallelujah, Jesus. I don't have to worry
everything
about
went through.
Yes,
okay.
I don't have to worry
Loan
anymore.
approved.
Yeah, so then you go and you do a final walkthrough of your home, and making sure that all of the repairs that you wanted to be fixed have been fixed. Make sure there's nothing extra that the sellers have done to the house since you first went under contract.
A lot can happen in those 30 days, y'all. A lot of times, a lot of contracts are about roughly 30 days. And I have seen and heard some horror stories about things happening during those 30 days. And that's what you catch during the final walkthrough. Because if you go to that closing table and you didn't walk through that house and something happened, it's your house now.
Yep.
So it's like, that is very important, that final walkthrough.
Yep. And then after the final walkthrough, if everything is good and gravy, then you get to step 10, and that is your closing day. You get your keys, and you are a homeowner, baby. Okay? Yes, you are in the homeowner club, honey. So you got equity that you can put your hands on, and it's just an amazing feeling to be able to own your own home. Trust me, I know.
Definitely.
Did you guys have any questions about the home buying process? We kind of took you through it step by step. It's a lot more. We kind of shortened it as best that we could. It's a lot more that goes into that. A lot of those steps happen more than one time. So, but like I said, as realtors, that's for us to know and for you not to worry about. Because our job is to worry and do all that stuff for you. Your job is just to smooth sail throughout this transaction. Tell me what you want. I got it. Sign the papers. That's your job as my client.
All right, so we're getting into the part that everybody wanted to know about, the financing. And before we get started, I just want to say there is no such thing as a bad credit score. I don't want to talk to anybody, and I don't want you to tell me your credit score is bad, it's terrible, because trust me, okay, it's not. And I just want to say that before we get in, because I've had people with like 650s and 680s, and they're like, my credit score is terrible. I'm like,
you can buy a house, baby.
That's not terrible. Like, no.
Who told you that? It really tells you that on Credit Karma or like FICO that your credit score is good.
Listening to people that don't have their license, they're thinking that it's not good. There's like this facade that there's like good credit and bad credit. No, that doesn't exist. All right, so we're just going to get into the financing 101. I think we're definitely going to answer those questions from the chat. If we don't, definitely remind us and we'll go back and answer them.
All right, so there are 4 different types of loans that you can get. There is an FHA loan, conventional loan, USDA loan, and a VA loan. So I'm going to go over the credit score requirements for those loans and the down payment percentages, and then we're going to go into debt to income ratio, what that is, and then identify some down payment assistance programs that could possibly help you guys start your home buying journey. So to start off, I'm going to talk about FHA. With an FHA loan, the minimum credit score right now, and this PowerPoint was just made, but a week from now, these numbers could change. Not so much the down payment, but more so the credit score. Right now, the minimum credit score for FHA loan is a 640, and the down payment is 3.5%. So what that means is, and I'm gonna get out my calculator real quick.
I'm like,
if you want a $250,000 house, and you use an FHA loan, your down payment will be $8,750. Not that bad. People think you need $10,000, $20,000 to buy a house. You definitely don't. And if you qualify for a down payment assistance program, like $7,500, or if you minus $7,500, your down payment is gonna be $1,250.
Right.
It's $1,250. So it's definitely not that expensive to buy a home as like people think it is. You just gotta have a good realtor and a good mortgage loan officer that are going to research what down payment assistance programs are out there that could benefit you. And we're gonna go over some of those. So FHA minimum credit score is 640, down payment is 3.5%. For a conventional loan, the minimum credit score is a 620. However, the down payment is a little bit more. It's 5 to 10%. And basically, the main difference that people need to know between the FHA and the conventional loan, with an FHA loan, you have to live in the property for at least a year. And the conventional loan, you don't have to live in the property. It can be an investment property. You don't have to live in it for a conventional loan, but the down payment is a lot more for conventional. So now let's get into this income ratios. I feel like this is very important, and people don't think about this when they're buying a home. You only think about credit scores and interest rates. A lot of people don't talk about debt to income ratio, and that's a major
especially
part.
For our generation.
Yes, that's a major part in getting approved for a loan, because then we get into student loans, which we all have because our parents drilled in our minds that we needed to go to college, not you need to get into all this debt to go to school. But anyways, so with debt to income ratios, for an FHA loan, it's 50% with exceptions. So what that means is they don't want your debt to be 50% more than your income. That's basically what that means. If your income, if you make, I'm gonna put a ballpark number. If you make $10,000, then a month, they don't want your debt to be no more than $5,000 in a nutshell. For a conventional loan, they don't want your debt to income to be more than 45%. No exceptions. No exceptions with conventional.
Conventional's a little different.
Yeah, conventional's a little different. With FHA, that 50% can go, they'll kind of, depending on your circumstance, they can kind of maybe go up a little bit if your debt to income ratio is a little bit higher. But with conventional, it's pretty much set at that 45%. So when you are looking at, financing a home, think about, okay, what is my debt to income ratio? And if you are confused about how to determine your debt to income ratio, don't try to do it yourself. Get with a realtor. They can get you in contact with a mortgage loan officer, and they can tell you what your debt to income ratio is. And that can determine, if you are ready to get a house on that.
Right. And then this just ties back into what I was saying earlier. Definitely don't be afraid to talk to that lender and get those questions answered, and this is something they can literally provide you with a specific breakdown of everything that we're going over today. The different loan, they can do different numbers, different loan types, different counties qualify for different down payment assistance programs, all of that information. So definitely don't be afraid to talk to your mortgage lender.
All right, and then we're going to get into the other different types of loans, which is USDA and USDA and VA loans. USDA are for my people who live in rural areas. Like, for example, I'm from Eaton, Georgia, Putnam County, okay? So PC, what it do? So those people will qualify for a USDA loan because they're in a rural area. And you have to have a certain income to, qualify for a USDA loan. But a lot of people don't even know about that type of loan. So if you're living in a rural area like Eaton, USDA loans are your friend. The minimum credit score is the same as an FHA loan at 640. Sometimes you don't have to pay any down payment. You just have to be living in a certain area to, benefit from those loans. And then you have VA loans, which are for veterans. Usually it doesn't matter what your credit score is. No down payment. It's a 100% loan. So now we see why people go into the military. I didn't really know why before, but that's one of the main reasons why. Because the loans are so good. You literally get 100% financing as a VA or as a veteran to get a VA loan. So to do that, you must be a service member, veteran, or you can be the spouse of a surviving
fallen service member.
A fallen service member. You're right. All right, so now we're going to get into some down payment assistance programs. The main one that we're going to go over is Georgia Dream, and Georgia Dream has different aspects to it that I want to kind of go over, so you can qualify for different amounts depending on which loan that you will qualify for. Most of the time, if you're looking for a Georgia Dream, your credit score needs to be at least 640. For a standard Georgia Dream down payment loan, is usually about $5,000. But the buyer must invest at least $1,000, which is, when you can think about how much you could have to pay, $1,000 is really nothing. But
you just say 8,000?
Exactly.
What we just did?
Exactly. So, and then when I did the math and I subtracted that, it was a lot less. So the buyer, you must invest at least $1,000, but you can get up to $5,000 in down payment assistance. The only thing is, with any Georgia Dream loan, there is some home buyer education that is required.
Don't forget about the classes.
Yeah, you have to take some classes in order to be able to qualify for Georgia Dream. And the Georgia Dream, the home has to be in a certain area. It's not all over Georgia. It's mostly in Metro Atlanta and surrounding counties.
The CAB. But like I said before, your realtor, your team will know. Your realtor and your lender will definitely know about these programs. And if they don't know, this is a sign you need to flee. Okay, flee and get a new team, because if they don't know about these programs, no.
Yeah. Then we get into.
Did we answer your question, Sydney, about the difference between the different kinds? Did that kind of help? If you're still in. Oh, okay, wait.
Yeah, we're good. Thanks.
Okay, so with FHA, Jasmine said, I heard they'll take up to 55% DCI, but would that still limit the amount you get approved for? No, it would not limit the amount that you would get pre-approved for, and they probably will take 55%. Because remember how I said that it's 50% with exceptions? That 55% means that there was some exception as to why some reason as to why they were able to get 55%. So yes, that is definitely true. But it wouldn't limit the amount of loan that you would get pre-approved for.
So just to give a quick little backstory, I know we're running out of time. When I bought my house, y'all, I was fresh out of college, 23,
she
fresh
was
out of college.
Smart.
It's because of my grandma. I had just started working a salary job, maybe like less than a year. And my lender was so good, y'all. He got me approved and in that home. Okay, and trust me, I have student loans. Okay, a lot of student loans. I'm one of the ones that pay my apartment rent with my student loans, so I have a lot. Okay, perfect. Jasmine said we answered her question. All right.
So that was the standard. Go back up for me. That was the standard Georgia Dream loan. Now we get into specific types that can increase in value. So with the Georgia Dream pen loan, if you're a healthcare professional, doctor, nurse, teachers, first responders, if you're in the military, you can get up to $7,500 with the Georgia Dream pen program. So with standard, you will only get $5,000. If you go into this category, you can get up to $7,500 if you work in any of those areas. Also, you have the Georgia Dream Choice. I didn't put that on the slide, but that's for my people who are disabled. If you have a disability, you can get in up on the Georgia Dream Choice. It's also up to $7,500, and that's if you are disabled, or if you have someone that's disabled that's living with you, you could qualify for the Georgia Dream Choice. And they also call that the HOP program, but the HOP program is kind of it only does certain areas as well too. So
yes, a lot of these programs have certain qualifications in certain areas and stuff like that. But like I said, as the realtor, we'll know that, and your lender will know that as well. All right, so we're definitely just moving right along. Let me check the chat really quick to make sure we don't have any questions.
We got about 12 more minutes.
Okay.
And then we're going to get into our last little section as to why you should get a realtor, and then we're going to do our giveaways, and we got money prizes, y'all, so stay to the end. Okay,
money back.
I probably should have told people that so people are left, they don't miss the opportunity.
They don't get the prize, you don't deserve the prize. But I definitely think we have covered why you need a realtor throughout our presentation, but we'll definitely just hit it home. So we're definitely committed to you. We work with you through this transaction every step of the way. Like I said, the communication with your realtor is definitely very important. Having a good relationship with them, being able to feel comfortable enough to talk to them about certain things. And this goes back to when you're interviewing your realtor, to make sure that even your personalities get along. So like I said, we're committed to you. We have a team of people that's behind us, with resources and tools that are proven to help you buy your home, and to any potential sellers to also help you sell your home. And also, because you guys are buyers, this is a buyer seminar, our commission is actually paid by the seller.
So it's a free service.
Okay, y'all don't even pay for it. It's paid for by the seller. Something else we negotiate in the contract.
Girl, so
y'all don't pay for
me everything that we just said. All the
negotiating, stuff that contracting.
It's free.
Numbers.
I don't understand why people would just pass up free service. I never understand why people don't choose to get a realtor. Because I'm working for you for free.
Basically.
You don't have to pay me. It don't come out to you. It's not added to the purchase price of your property. It's literally a free service. So,
and I think that's the number one thing that I definitely hear with people not wanting to work with a realtor or a real estate agent is that that commission. So that was definitely good to know. We're going to chat.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, so somebody's coming. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then definitely our tools and resources. So Candace and I are realtors. We're not just real estate agents. So we do have access to other things that real estate agents don't have access to, different listings, different contracts, different forms, different classes, different trainings, I can literally go on and on and on about the things that we have access to. And then these things is what we use to utilize to help you find a home. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, all right, no questions.
And you have to ask yourself, do I have an inspector on hand? Do I have contractors on hand? So when I need repairs to this property, do I have somebody that's going to be able to fix it? Do I have an appraiser? Do I know what appraisers do? It's so many questions that you have to ask yourself.
Do you know a trusted lender?
And if you don't know the answers to these questions, use the free service that we're offering to you guys. There's no reason, even if you don't choose to work with us, that's perfectly fine. But just find a realtor out there that you can connect with, because there's no reason why you should get lost along this journey, because it's a very complicated process, y'all. It's just that when you have a good realtor, it doesn't feel complicated because they're doing all the work on the back end for you. But it can be very time consuming and it can be very complicated. So you want someone in your corner that's going to, have your best interest at heart and always working on your behalf. As a buyer's agent, I have your best interest at heart. No matter what I'm talking about with the seller, it's all about what you want to do. If you don't tell me that you want this number, I'm not going to even mention any other number or any other information, because I have your best interest, and we have your best interest at heart.
Right. Definitely. And also something I feel like that we hear all the time, people want to know like how long the process takes. It takes long. They might see their friend that bought a house in 2 weeks, or somebody that took a whole year to buy a house. It's really just a case-by-case basis. How long it takes for you to get approved, and like I said, how hard your realtor is out there working for you to find that house, how quick you can win that offer, and stuff like that can definitely affect the amount of time it takes to purchase a house. Usually it can take about 30 to 45 days, for sure though.
And it all depends on your finances too. If you got cash, then we're talking about
cash is king. Okay.
So we might be talking about a couple days to finalize your loan. So it just depends on the type of loan that you're looking for and your financing. So before we do our little giveaways, because we're going to just randomly draw names, do you guys have any last questions before we do our giveaways? You can start. I'm going to get to the participants. I don't know my name is funny here.
Oh, true. Okay. Oh, policy. Hold on, y'all. Sorry. Okay. All right.
Questions.
Hang on. I'm just trying to access the chat really quickly, y'all. Sorry. Hang on.
Joey.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
Cody.
Sorry.
Lauren.
The first time homeowner credit work. Oh.
How does the first time homeowner?
I think if you're talking about the different first time home buyer programs, it definitely depends on. Okay, sorry. It definitely depends on what kind of program that you're working with. I think in this one, we only talk about the Georgia Dream. So if you're doing the Georgia Dream, you would potentially only get the $5,000 or the $7,500. Now, if you do a different program, you can get a different amount. It's definitely something specific to the house, the location of the house, how much money you make, and some other factors definitely go into which programs you qualify for. We can definitely talk about it after. If you have a specific area that you're interested in, we can let you know what programs are specific to that area. And then I see another question asking about new builds in this type of market over resales to avoid bidding wars. And it's so crazy that you asked that question, because Candace is always telling me about new construction and new builds and how they're just so good to work with.
You own something, Jasmine. You own something, girl. Yes. To answer your question, yes. It's better if there was any way to go about not getting in a bidding war, then it will be new construction. Because with new construction, there are no bidding wars.
Yeah.
If the property is available and you want it, You the first person to say you want
They
it.
only sell their inventory.
Exactly. So yes, it is better in this type of market to do new construction, in my opinion. But some people don't like new construction homes. Some people like resales. They want to live in a specific subdivision in this specific house, and that is perfectly fine.
And something that I thought was really cool about new construction, especially right now with everything going on, if depending on the builder, if you're like a first responder or educator, they're giving you extra money to close. I looked at a house the other day and they were giving up to $10,000 towards your closing, guys. $10,000 if you were an educator, worked in the medical field at this new build. If you weren't in the medical field, I think it was about between $5,000 and $8,000. All right. We have another question. It says, if a loan says they need to run your credit.
Yes, Jasmine, girl. I feel you, girl, because I definitely used it because I was literally a teacher last year. So I definitely used that for my down payment. Okay.
I'm like, what happened? Okay, but so the question says, if a loan says they need to run your credit, even though you do not have the down payment, will running it hurt your credit?
Anytime somebody run your credit, it's not gonna hurt your credit.
Yeah, it's an inquiry.
It's just an inquiry. It's not gonna hurt your credit at all. But of course, inquiries do put your it does make your credit score go down, but not as much as you guys think. It may be like 2 points. But I get it. Some people need that 2 points. Yeah. But so it is gonna run your credit. So, but this is my thing. You want to be as prepared as possible. So if you don't ever talk to a mortgage loan officer and have them see what you can afford, because that pre-approval letter lasts for 3 months. Yeah. So you have 3 months to come up with the funds that you need to get that loan. Plus the fact that a lot of people know this, but your parents, boyfriend, girlfriend, people can give you a gift of the down payment money as well. So don't forget about that. People always forget, like you have to have money in account. No. You can have someone gift you the money too, but they got to justify the funds just like you got to justify the funds. But because it's 6:57, I'm going to stop it there because I have all my names and I want to make sure you guys get your gifts. We said we're doing a giveaway.
All right, while she's picking the name, I'm just going to answer this last question real quick. It says, how do you determine the price range of homes you should look at based on your income? So this definitely ties back into when we're talking about getting pre-approved. So where you're getting pre-approved for that amount, that's how you set your budget. So if you get pre-approved for like $250, you don't want to look at homes that cost more than $250,000. And yes, your income does affect your pre-approval.
All right, so I'm gonna have Kelsey do it because I made them.
Okay, wait.
Close your eyes though. And this is for all of it. We're gonna pull 3 times. This is for Amazon e-gift card for $25. First card goes to.
All right. Just answered your question, Shay.
Congratulations, Shay girl. You just won a $25 Amazon gift card. Do we email it soon?
Yeah, we're gonna email it.
Okay, we'll email
and
it.
And I have your number.
All right. Okay. Second one.
Okay. Tiffany.
Hey, congratulations, girl, for your Amazon gift card. And the last one goes to.
Oh, girl, that was like 5. Okay, let me see. Sydney,
congratulations. Hey. Congratulations, you guys. We will be emailing you guys your Amazon gift cards. Thank you so much for joining our home buying seminar. We have more to come. We're going to do more sessions every quarter, so we'll have more information for you guys coming shortly. If you have any questions, feel free to go to the slide where it has our information on there. Feel free to shoot us an email. My email is candice.reed@metrobrokers.com. Kelsey's email is
kewi@kw.com.
So if you guys, and here's our contact information on this slide. If you have any questions, you can call us, email us.
Follow us on Instagram.
Follow us on Instagram. I'm on Instagram at Candice the Realtor, or you guys can do Candy Girl, 2 Y's, 3 L's, but my official realtor email is Candice the Realtor.
All right, so if y'all don't have any more questions, oh, I think I see something in the chat really quickly. Oh, all right, definitely. Thank you guys so much for joining. We really appreciate y'all taking out time of y'all Saturday.
Yeah, you're welcome, Bianca.
All right, we definitely look forward to talking to you guys soon. Have a good Saturday.
Have a happy Saturday. See you guys later.